Today we got Natalie.
This one's for all the guys out there. I'm going to tell you a secret that us women do not want to tell you, but I'm going to tell you because I think this will benefit you a lot. I know there are so many people out there that say, "Oh, it's so annoying when men approach us. It's so annoying that I get hit on all the time." Okay, here's the secret. We like it when men act like men and approach us to have a conversation because
Oh my god. It's crazy just the sheer amount of cope. It feels like I've heard every different color of cope to the point that I realize exactly why this type of content is so valuable. It's so easy to just believe what somebody says, and then you hear a situation and finally you get excited. You're like, okay, maybe I'll actually know the truth now. And then they just give you another cope. Okay, so here's the ultimate truth in this. They like when men that they find attractive approach them. When the man they don't deem as attractive approaches them, they see it as annoying and a waste of their time. This is purely due to feminism because the masculine perspective is simply not respected. The idea that a man has to go and get what he wants, he has to make attempts, he has to take a risk. All of these masculine characteristics aren't appreciated because girls simply do not care at all anymore. It's all a bunch of main character syndrome where they only care about their personal convenience at any given moment, and the greater picture or the macro good really doesn't have any application. Now, at the same time, you shouldn't be mad about this. You just have to accept the reality for what it is. They are so hyper abundant that they're blatantly complaining about it. To you as a guy, you can always find an angle to where this can annoy you. Being annoyed about it is a waste of your time and it doesn't accomplish anything. Understand it and use it to your advantage.
how the hell are you supposed to meet people in this world if you can't have a conversation with a stranger in public? And I'm not
I mean, let's face it, the doomer online guy's response to this would be, well, it's a 50-50 world. Can't you say the same thing about yourself? Why aren't you approaching and engaging in these conversations as well? I'm not trying to sit here and say that's the correct sequence, but in some way, I almost feel like we're a little bit cooked. If you go and approach with any sexual interest, obviously, there's always that chance that you'll be shamed for it. At the same time, there's also a chance that you can inflate her ego. But then, given those variables, there's also a chance that you could get a number. Ultimately, you just have to take the risk and be nonchalant about it. There is no other way to win. All the BS that she's spewing makes sense on paper, but in actual practical reality, it really doesn't matter.
even talking like, okay, talk to a stranger and then date them. Like that's your goal. No, I'm saying just talking to a stranger just to be their friend, just to build a connection. Because we live in a world where there's like no connection these days. We all go on our phones and social media to try to find connection, but we all feel very shallow and empty.
It's because everybody lives for themselves. There's no connection because everybody's so self-obsessed. Everybody's ego is through the roof. They're constantly doing calculations to make sure that they get the benefit of every single exchange that they're in. It's just one of those indicators that we simply live in scarce times. People in general right now are very low in abundance. The economy in general is total shit. Everything is constantly doom and gloom. People are generally hyper-focused on themselves because there really isn't that much leeway anymore. Of course, in times of high stress, you really get to see the true nature of people. An example being, if you don't provide me an immediate benefit, I really don't have any interest in communicating or talking with you. That's the objective reality. And in the West, especially in the city that I live, people just aren't friendly. Provide something or get the out. Of course, in addition to this, because of social media, everybody is scrambling super hard to get into that top 1% category, even though the vast majority of these people will never make it there. They just don't have the mentality to get to that point. They feel entitled to be there, of course, but that's a whole nother story. In our current bubble, perception is reality, and unfortunately, the difference between that perception and what the objective reality is growing by the day, and the illusion simply cannot be maintained for much longer. So yes, while there is a female nature component to all of this, and what she's saying is objectively cope, there is more variables to it than meets the eye. And the more you start to objectively sift through all of this, the more it starts to make sense. Everybody is coping. It's very, very difficult to build abundance. It's hyper difficult to get ahead. Let's keep going.
So the secret is we like it when men act like men. That is the most attractive thing.
It's all super subjective in cope. We like it when men act like real men. Automatically baked into it's a no true Scotsman because what is now defined as a real man? It's hyper subjective depending on who's saying it and depending, of course, on how attractive that guy is. I can get into the whole dynamic of having female friends and how most of the time it doesn't benefit you as the guy, but I'll be honest, I don't want to get into that in this video. I'll just make a very quick surface level point about it. If you're a guy that values surface level connections purely for the sake of being liked or being well received in social scenarios, then yes, having friends that are girls is nice like having a hobby. They can add some form of intangible value or subjective enjoyment. But if you're like most guys who idealistically would prefer to be more purpose driven, none of this really applies to you. Sitting there yapping back and forth about trivial things really provides the same amount of value to your life as playing video games. Both of these things are really just for enjoyment. This is the point now, of course, where we get into the female projection of the need for social interaction. Women love to project this need onto men. But if we circle back to the point of scarcity I was talking about earlier, men only care about social interaction in times of abundance because it's for enjoyment. It's not a need. In times of scarcity, only abundant men can really afford to go out there and be social all the time. There's always a masculine guilt present if we're not able to provide. So unless we're coping extremely hard, going out there and wasting a bunch of time socializing isn't really going to do us any favors. Hopefully all of that makes sense.
And I know a lot of the men here that message me and comment on my videos say that a lot of women are not approachable because they have a big face. Now that is very, very true. But here's the other secret. A lot of times the resting bitch face, it's not even something that we think about. That's why it's called the resting bitch face. It's just kind of the face that some people have all the time. And it's the face they have on autopilot.
That autopilot exists for a reason. Girls that are open to being approached usually have a very pleasant demeanor. Any guys traveled outside of North America can confirm what I'm saying is true. Many girls here have a resting bitch face because they don't want to be approached and because they're better than almost any guy that's around them. Once again, we're back to that whole main character syndrome thing.
So it doesn't mean they don't want to talk to you. It just means that is their automatic face. This is something I realized about myself a long time ago, and I realized I didn't want that to be my face. I want it to be more approachable to just everyone because it just makes life better when you're smiling. So I actively try to just be like small smiles or just...
How much do you want to bet that if she was being completely honest, that change occurred when she actually became available? The boyfriend's gone, maybe she was alone for a certain period of time, maybe she was finally open to meeting new guys, and then the need facilitated the change. Of course, I'm making an assumption here. I don't know for sure why she made that change, but I'm so confident in this that I would stake a lot of money on that being the case. It's just human nature. 99% of people don't change unless there's a need. If she was happily taken, why change at all?
Smile at random strangers, just say hello to as many people as possible. Because I don't know about you, but when I go on walks, I always try to say hi to everyone because it's just nice. If I look down or stare at my phone and not look at anyone that I'm passing, it just feels like I'm going on a walk and not trying to engage with anyone, and it's just kind of sad. So that's something that I personally do. Maybe ladies give that a go. But the secret here is, again, we like it when men approach us.
I think you need to go back and take an honest, objective view of all of your girlies and then come back and say if you really believe that most women want to be approached. The truth is, most women want to be approached by guys they deem as attractive. Even from my own anecdotal experience, the vast majority of women I've ever talked to were always annoyed by the fact that so many guys were approaching them or DMing them, trying to be nice to them. They're annoyed by the idea because they always feel that the guy wants to get something from them. More Disney fairy tales and idealism. In a girl's hypothetical perfect world, she wants every guy she meets to only ever care about her personality and not at all about her looks, until she likes him. Then she wants him to care about her looks. As a guy in the modern era, unfortunately, you're going to have to permanently navigate these delusions. It's just a feature of the times we live in. To make it a little less doom and gloom for you, think about all the different people that were born post-World War II. Or even worse, think about if you were born in 1930. Your whole young life as a boy, you were already being prepped to be sent to war. That was simply a feature of that era. The feature of our era is simply different. Whether it's for better or for worse is a discussion that can be had at another time. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Don't forget to check my links in the description below.